All right, we're going to dive into a thought experiment that's, well, it's fascinating, but honestly, it's pretty terrifying. Just think about this for a second. What if, in a blink, the very frame holding you together just vanished?
Seriously, picture it. Wherever you are right now listening to this, what would really happen to you?
If every single bone in your body, all 206 of them, from the top of your skull down to the tips of your toes, just poof, gone.
And what if it was only for 5 seconds? I mean, 5 seconds, that's nothing, right? It's less than a blink. But inside your body? Oh, it would feel like an eternity of just complete and utter chaos.
Okay, so before we start that 5-second timer, let's just take a moment to appreciate what we'd actually be losing. You know, we think of our bones as just these rigid sticks, but they're so much more. They're like the silent engineers of our entire body. They anchor every muscle, they shield our vital organs, they even help us take a breath. They're the framework for, well, everything. So what happens when all of that is suddenly gone?
All right, here we go. Let's start the clock. Second one begins now.
Instantly, the first thing isn't a fall, it's a collapse, a total collapse. Your muscles, they suddenly have nothing to pull against. Your tendons are useless. Without any structure, you just fold. You fold into yourself, just like it says here, like a pile of wet fabric. You'd become this sudden, boneless heap on the floor.
And while all that is happening on the outside, inside, it's an absolute disaster. Gravity, which you never think about, suddenly becomes your worst enemy. Your liver just drops and flattens. Your lungs collapse under their own weight. Your heart gets twisted out of place. And, the most terrifying part, your brain, this incredibly delicate organ, starts to deform because there's no skull to protect it. Your whole face just loses its shape.
Okay, that brings us to second two. And your body tries to fight back.
It's a completely futile attempt, but your body tries to save itself. Your brain goes into full-blown panic mode, just firing off emergency signals to every part of you. It's screaming at your muscles, contract, stabilize, do something. But they can't. Without bones to anchor to, the muscles are just pulling against nothing. Empty space. It's just total system-wide helplessness. And now we're at second three. And this is where a truly primal fear kicks in.
Get this. You are fully conscious through all of this, and you realize you can't breathe. Your diaphragm is still trying to move, but with no rib cage, your chest has no way to expand. Your lungs physically cannot inflate. CO2 is building up in your blood fast. Your vision starts to flicker at the edges, and your consciousness starts to fade.
We're at second 4 now. The whole system is hitting a critical breaking point.
You know, even our heart, the engine of the body, needs support. And without the chest cavity holding it in place, the heart itself starts to lose its shape. The chambers literally deform, the valves get all misaligned, and its beat becomes weak, then erratic, your blood pressure just plummets, your brain, your organs, they're all being starved of oxygen. The whole system is just moments from a total shutdown.
And here we are, the fifth and final second. This is the peak, the climax of your body's deconstruction.
This is what you've become right before everything reverses. And there's really no other way to put it. You are, as the quote says, a soft biological mass. You're not a human form anymore. You're just a collection of organs and tissues with absolutely no architecture.
So, let's recap. At the 5-second mark, your muscles are useless. Your organs are a jumbled, displaced mess. Your brain is being dangerously compressed, and your heart is barely even functioning. You are literally moments away from total organ failure. And then, just like that, they're back. And it's not a gentle return. In an instant, everything snaps back into place. It's a violent, immediate reconstruction. Your spine shoots upward. The ribcage bursts outward, forcing this huge involuntary gasp of air into your lungs. Your heart is lifted back where it belongs, and the skull solidifies around your poor, compressed brain. It's like a biological explosion back into form.
So, you're back. The structure is there. But you have to wonder, after something that catastrophic, is it really over? Are you guaranteed to survive? Well, the answer, it's a lot more complicated than you'd think.
And that's because we're talking about two very different kinds of survival here. I mean, physically, yeah, you might survive. The architecture is restored, your systems can reboot, basically, but psychologically, no way. The conscious experience of feeling your own body fold in on itself, of suffocating while being wide awake, that would be an absolutely unforgettable, horrifying trauma. And let's not forget, the physical damage doesn't just vanish.
that violent snapback into place would leave its mark. We're talking micro tears in your lungs from that first desperate gasp, bruised and damaged organs, even torn muscles from the sheer force of the collapse and reconstruction. A 5-second event like this would leave very real, lasting scars.
So in the end, 5 seconds, it sounds like nothing, right? But it goes to show that without our bones, those silent engineers we never think about, it's more than enough time to completely break the architecture of the human body and push you right to the very edge of life itself. It really makes you think, doesn't it? What other silent, crucial systems are we all taking for granted every single day?